Hey, at the moment, I would like to overview one of my favorite projects that I have done. In this project, I explore what will be aesthetics of interaction in the future while being with AI. And I developed like a design fictional probe, basically consisting of like a color sensors, like a particle theme or like a fluid theme based like a webcam interactive generative code, and like this kind of like a old child I combine it with like old child magical trick, which is like a consists of like a milk, soap, and like a food color. Let's go. As I mentioned, speculative probes to facilitate ethnographic design research within the realm of some aesthetics, while me being in the project itself, experiencing it slowly, designing it slowly, following autoethnographical and research through design approach. This speculative probe end up aims to forecast and speculate on the future of work experiences, particularly while we communicate with like a large language models. I wanted to transcend the like a traditional conversation, while it can be like a talking with someone or using like a chat function, but I wanted to understand how it means we like, bodily interact with AI tools. And I wanted to explore like a creative expressions, like including like a bodily moments, the color theory, as well as like a multimodal interaction and like a multimodality coupling and so on. Our objective was investigate new aesthetics of interaction that not only engage mind but also out of the body thinking. Thus, like a some aesthetics come into play. I wanted to like a kind of like a challenge current technological trends and norm, and kind of like a push like a new way of interacting with technological devices rather than now I am using my headset, but I want to find alternative way of experiencing the world as well. And in here I am quickly testing out like a fluid theme model in using some online tutorials and creating my own. I think I watched tutorials from the coding train. Back when I have done this, the vibe coding wasn't thing, so I just follow the tutorials and learn from it. I will not say I'm coder. Don't know a lot about coding, but yeah, you can watch the tutorials and then play around and explore. Secondly, kind of like I use this old magical trick about like a milks, like a food coloring, and like a create some kind of illustration, and using this kind of like a painting in a way to talk with the AI tools by using the color sensors. So in here, like I ask, okay, what if the way we use the brush and body language will add extra layer of information to our communication with AI, which is kind of interesting question to me. Like if we're aggressive, subtle, calm, or irritated, afraid, stressed while creating this artwork. So through webcam, AI tool can analyze our body language and how we paint, and kind of like I understand that as a like extra layer of communication to analyzing our body language. What if with this tangible interaction we can active and deactive this extra layer of conversation, because I think the having consent is important. Not everyone will feel comfortable with this idea, so it should be like a feature that you can on and off by your own will. Um and this also like a wider organized speculative probe. I talk about like a is AI can collaborate with us or constantly observe us. Like it can we use tangible interaction to intertwine with AI when there is a need to creative thinking or critical decision making here. So you kind of like a follow along while there's a kind of like a reasoning features from the AI tools, and you use tangible interaction. You use your own body to intertwine and contribute to the decision making or the reasoning, I will say. Um, and I did lots of like a visit of all side, like a more packing and mock-ups and experiment of explore like affordance, like this like a feedback and feed forward loops. I while develop this like a spec design fiction props. I at the same time I created like interaction mapping to analyze like input output, how why question for each interaction pattern, and how this different pattern can couple of with like a modalities to create like interaction coupling, and then analyze the feedback and feed forward loops in this experiment. For instance, again counting the actual like a tangible interaction. I really love like a hub like a body fitting this like a rotary button like a created while I was engaging with the basic AI tools, and like I saw okay how we can turn into the everyday artifact that like we can carry with us. I think the physical form itself and this like a DUI style like temporal form of it like a play factory. The second one was interesting because the idea is like you go to the like a forest, you find branches on the floor, you come home or you go to make a space, you do like a with woodworking, you create this you tangible wooden token, and then you add bunch of like a sensor to it, and then you can use this sensors to give like an input to the AI tools. And we conduct like a body storming activities. And one of the people mentioned that like this crafted wooden element can be seen as something we call like a prey artifact. Sometimes you might people find them they were whispering into this, and this bring up interesting dialogue where can you whisper into the AI tools what that's indicate is it sign of trust or untrusting, and also how we can get a tangible output from the AI tools that we understand we are constantly using it, we are engaging with it, and it stop observing us, listening us. I think we need an extra layer of interaction here. So opposite to the invisible interaction to create sense of a trust. Again, we focus on feed forward, in-head feedback, and different interaction modalities. So we explore a physical and temporal form to explore the interaction aesthetics, and all this kind of refer to OG academical work conducted in Netherlands with some of my design academia from some of my design academia heroes. Um, as part of design processing, we wanted to iterate on the props that can be used with of all activities, body storming about to conduct some aesthetics workshop, or even use it as a culture prop kit. In this case, we talk about maybe we can share people processing code, a really simple diary kits for them to keep track of themselves. And in case people are not so familiar with coding, they don't know how to use online editor, we need to create some kind of educational resources as well. The idea was after this a diary and cultural prop or ethnographic studies, we would do in-depth interviews, not taking session, a visual journaling to mapping out different visual journey to mapping out activities, define the touch point, create like a user journey maps, feature user journey maps, and so on, and then analyze all of our nodes and go deeper and go back to a start to investigate aesthetics of interaction, heavily focusing on a fit back and fit forward. So in this project, we strike two things actually. We explore a design fiction, speculative design. We develop out a fictional prop, and then based on that, a loss of research to design activities, graphic design activities happened. So yeah, it was a really interesting project. Thanks for listening. Okay.